All right. 10:40. Who we got? No way at the last minute. Okay, so we're just missing Emmeline. Right? No Emmeline. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Every time, as soon as I click the button, somebody jumps in. Every time. You think you're done, and then no. All right. Better than not showing up. Okay, life is moving pretty fast, and we're going to do some of that today. So we've been talking about logical reasoning, deductive reasoning, and we had those 4 laws of logic. Modus ponens, modus tollens, law of syllogism, law of contrapositive. And all of those are fine and dandy, and they work wonders on conditional statements. But we have other ways of connecting things besides just conditional. So I'll go back to the highlighted version of the text you read over the weekend. This is earlier. This is from the first weekend, right? Started with statements, and then the first thing this text threw at you was, hey, we can put 2 statements together. We can combine them with and we can combine them with or. And they had fancy names for this, the conjunction and the disjunction. I'm not going to be too concerned about those terms right now, but I want you to at least recognize when it's being used. All right? Because and statements are the most restrictive. If you want your and statement to still be true, you need all of the above. What is this? Oh, from the play. Awesome. Where was it?
In the field teacher's room.
Huh. There we go. All right, lost prop from last year. Suddenly shows up. It's a strange sign indeed. Anyways, where were we? Yes. So and is going to be the most restrictive. Right? Think about this. It is raining. The sun is shining. Either of which could happen. But if you want to be most specific, it is raining and the sun is shining. It's a very specific kind of weather event, right? Now, in my opinion, the easiest analogy here is to think in terms of dating, right? If you are looking for a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner of some sort, you might have some criteria that you want them to fit, right? Not crazy, right? Might be one of them. Or you want, I want somebody who's kind, I want somebody who's passionate, or I want somebody who's really smart, or I want somebody that likes the things I like, right? You're really into video games, you want them to be into video games, so you can play video games together, and it's wonderful. You have that list, and the more and you tack on there, I want to do this, and like this, and like that, the more and more narrow your results, right? Your selective pool, it's like, well, there's hardly anybody left to choose from, right? And is more selective. And so you can see that represented here on the truth table. For one statement, could be true, it could be false. For the other criteria, could be true, could be false. And each combination therein, and both statements still being true, is only true once. Notice there's only one T on this column. The rest are false. Anytime there's a false, the whole thing is false. There's a false, the whole thing is false. Both are false, the whole thing is false. The conjunction, an and connection of 2 statements, is only still true when both of them were true. Compare that to or. If you say or, and because it's kind of the opposite logical result, we've just flipped that little caret symbol there. The disjunction, we're going to use the inclusive or, both of them will still count. It will rain or the sun will shine. That covers a lot of possibilities, right? All the rainy days, all the sunny days, right? And even that weird one where you get a bit of both, that's covered. It's only like on a overcast, it's not sunny, but it's not quite raining. That's the only one left out, right? And so or is the least selective combination. When you say, I want someone that I date to be this or that, they could fit either of their criteria. Both would be wonderful. I want them to be a really good cook or really good with laundry, right? Maybe you're like, terrible with laundry. I'm thinking more long-term, right? Like life partner. Maybe that's not something you're looking for at this moment in a boyfriend, girlfriend. They got to be good at laundry. Invite them over. We'll do laundry together. It'll be great fun. No? Okay. Anyways, look at the truth table here, right? Still the same combinations of both terms, but now 3 of them ring true. Only 1 is false. The or disjunction is only false when both are false. Otherwise, it's true. You only need to hit 1 to get the whole thing to be true. You see the difference here? And now this is going to make life a little bit more complicated because people love to pile things together. All right? Today is particularly relevant. There was a presidential debate last night. I don't know if anybody watched it. I did not. I've just been watching clips of the highlights from. But politicians are a fantastic example of including extra things together, and it sometimes makes it sound more confusing because they'll say this and this, and then they'll talk about it as if the whole thing is happening. Well, it's like, wait a minute, I only agree with that part of it. But if you vote for the guy, you got to agree to the whole package. Or when they write laws, right? You may have heard that a law is never as simple as they make it sound out to be on TV. There's all kinds of additional elements written in there. Oh, well, it also covers this and this and this. And the only way we could get that guy to agree to vote on it is if we also included this thing that helps his constituents out. That's how they get things done. They compromise and they put a package together. It's never just straightforward, this is now illegal, this is, right? And so that combination complicates things. You can no longer call the whole thing true or false by itself. You've got to analyze, okay, well, this part of it was true, but this part of it was false, and how are they connected determines whether or not the whole thing is true or false. And that's going to have bearing, especially if you put a conjunction or disjunction and a conditional together, as we're going to see some examples of in our questions today. So today I have a set of questions for you. I thought we'd do a more fun example, so I came up with some statements about Batman and related characters. And we'll start off with some simple and connectors. And then we'll look at some that are or connectors. And then we've got some ands and ors grouped together. You got more than 2 pieces going together. And then at the end, we'll use those in conditionals to create an argument, and you'll determine, okay, is this still valid or not, right? So I'm going to walk you through one from each group, and then I will leave the rest of the questions to you. So here we go. Determine whether each of the following statements are true or false, given these facts. Okay, we are going to accept as true, for the purpose of this exercise, that Batman is rich. Batman is a hero. Lex Luthor is rich. And Lex Luthor is a villain. I know Lex Luthor is typically a Superman villain. I realize that. But Batman doesn't really have a big name rich villain. Okay? You could think of like a mob boss or something. But any name I picked you may not have recognized. So one was Lex Luthor. So if I want to make the statement, Batman is rich and Batman is a hero, is that whole statement true? Well, you have to look at each part. Batman is rich. That matches what we said up here. That part is true. Batman is a hero. That matches what we said up here. That part is true. The two together, and true, that is the most specific you can get. That is the only case where the whole thing is true. And yes, as the teacher, I will ask that you do write out the whole word true or false. Okay? That's all you have to do on the first, 15 of these. Okay? 17. It's one word. You can handle that. Right? Especially if you're going to print this off or handwrite it in your notebook. Although I shared the Google Doc, didn't I? Not a PDF. So you can actually type. Okay. So yeah, just go ahead and do the whole word. All right, so there's the ands. What about ors? The next up, I've given you a different set of facts. This is in addition to the previous ones. So I'm also adding Catwoman is a hero. Catwoman is a villain. Catwoman is not rich. I think if she was, she probably wouldn't be stealing things so much. So I said Catwoman is a hero or Catwoman is a villain. Either one of which needs to be true to make the whole thing true. So do we have Catwoman as a hero? Yes. That part is true. Or Catwoman is a villain. Is that part true? Yes, it is. So in this case, we do have both of them. That's not required. One of them would have been enough. So yes, the whole thing is true. Now let's see if we can make this a little more complex here. 3, I've not added any additional facts. This is still using the same ones from before. But now we have either some triple combinations here. You can see on D through G, add 3 of them together. Or I've reworded things here. I haven't said them explicitly. Here's the statement, and or here's the other statement. Try to translate this to a little smoother conversational language. You wouldn't say Catwoman is a hero and Catwoman is a villain. You don't need to restate that part every time. We would more naturally want to just say Catwoman is a hero and a villain. Sometimes one, sometimes the other. Depends on who's writing, really, and her mood, I guess. Right? But the connection is and so we have to check, is the hero part true or false? That part is true. Is the villain part true or false? That part is true. So this whole statement is true. All right, so you got to watch out. We can throw and or in the middle of a sentence, and it's secretly connecting to independent statements, even though it doesn't always look like it, because you wouldn't say in English class that a villain is a separate clause. It's not its own sentence, but it is representing a whole statement with fewer words. All right. And then finally, we have, in the 4th section, determine whether each of the following arguments are valid, and then identify the form of reasoning used. And I don't think I need to add in the additional, but if it's not valid, then you would write not valid, right? Or no valid conclusion, as we've done. Trying to save space on the document. So here we go. If Batman is a hero, so we're still referencing those same statements. So take each of those to determine true or false as we go. If Batman is a hero and Catwoman is a hero, then Gotham will be safe. So now you kind of see I've made it more specific. In order for Gotham to be safe, right? The necessity is I need both of these. Batman is a hero and Catwoman is a hero. All right, but I've restated them here so we have the whole argument represented. So there's our conditional. We're going to state Batman is a hero, Catwoman is a hero. Therefore, Gotham will be safe. So first I have to use that conjunction to combine Batman as a hero with Catwoman as a hero. I can take those two separate statements, combine them to say Batman is a hero and Catwoman is a hero, and that is the whole statement I have up here. So even though I wrote them as two separate sentences, I have in fact represented, here is this whole statement, here is that whole statement. I have if P then Q. These together create the statement P, and I have concluded Q. So yes, this is valid by modus ponens, or the law of disjunction, if you would like. All right, then I think they're all based on hero, villain, not villain. And then the conclusion is always, will Gotham be safe or not, right? So any questions from you? No? All right, then go ahead and answer the rest of those. And attach your finished result to Google Classroom. I think it just was to 4E. Yep, it's the last one. We've got 27 minutes to work. Should be plenty of time. If you finish with this, go ahead and continue working on the week's homework exercises. That does include some ands and ors in there. So if that part was confusing you when you looked at it yesterday, hopefully this clears things up. If you still have questions, don't hesitate to ask.